Happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you have not been here before, my name is Rosalind, and I talk about all things health. But in this series, I am talking about my journey being on Contrave. Today is the start of my third week, but today I'm going to be talking to you about my second week of Contrave. So here's where we begin. So let's see. I took the Contrave last Sunday morning, had breakfast, and was fine. And for the second week of Contrave, if you don't know, you take one pill in the morning and one pill at night. So I took the pill that morning, last Sunday, and that was fine. And then I took it again in the evening. And that was the first time taking it in the evening. And I have to say, I felt this really, really minor nausea. It wasn't anything huge. It wasn't anything that stopped me from going about my day, but I noticed it a little after I ate dinner. And my dinner, I'm trying to think, my dinner wasn't a high fat dinner. I can't remember what I ate right now, but it wasn't a high fat dinner. So, and then I noticed too, now that I'm thinking about it, I had an extremely slight headache. So extremely slight that I would have to stop like this and be like, oh, I feel something behind my eye. A little thing, a little itty bitty. I don't know how to explain it, but it wasn't enough to take anything for it. It wasn't that bad of a headache, but I kind of wanted to head off the nausea and kind of cut it off at its path. And so I decided I was going to take one of my Dramamine ginger chews. Now, let me tell you, these things here, I'm going to show you them. I'm not sponsored. Anything that I show you today are things that I'm using, but I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not that important. I wish I was. But this right here, this is, this, not only does it taste good, it, it will knock out some nausea. So I highly recommend it. I don't get nauseous that often, and it's been a while since I've been nauseous. So it was like as soon as I felt a little bit of nausea, I said, let me get ahead of this and take a ginger chew, and that feeling was gone. So let's see, what else am I covering here? Cravings. This is the funny thing that I've learned since being on Contrave and not having that quick, fast weight loss is that I had to realize that everyone has cravings. It's universal that people sometimes want ice cream or want cookies or want potato chips. I think it's the thing that it's not you're not doing it all the time, and being mindful, of course, of how you're eating and making sure that's not the main thing that you're eating. So the one thing I've learned is that it's okay to have a craving. I remember one day this week, I was feeling like my cravings were almost non-existent. And then out of nowhere, I was like, I want a devil dog. And I have devil dogs in the house. And I eat one whenever I'm having a craving. And so I was like, I'm going to have a devil dog. And I allowed myself to have a devil dog, and I was done. And I didn't want it anymore. And I went about my business and ate normal the rest of the day and still had calories left over. So I think with Contrave, the thing I do like about it is, in a way, I'm kind of glad it doesn't take away all of my cravings, because that's one thing that Ozempic, I feel, did for me, was it took away all of my sweets cravings. And people at the end of the day do not live like that. The reality is that you want to be able to enjoy things that you like sometimes, but be able to, control it. And I feel with Contrave that I'm better able to control it, definitely. What else do I have on my list? Fluids. Fluids are important, and that's one thing I've been paying attention to, is making sure that I'm drinking enough fluids. The reason I say fluids is because it's not always water, but it's always water based. So I drink tea. I drink a big cup of tea, no sugar tea, and that's like usually a couple of hours after breakfast. And on top of that, I drink like a 40-ounce bottle of water, which I usually have when I exercise, but I'm always drinking that during the day as well as when I exercise. And I drink coffee a couple of times a day, and I'm good. I get in everything I need. I'm not dehydrated, and I think that has helped with not really having the nausea or having headaches. So that's important. Oh, TMI, we're going to talk about constipation because that is a side effect on Contrave is constipation. I tend to eat a lot of fiber. I've always been focused on my fiber and my protein because I work out. So fiber and protein are important. And I noticed even with eating enough fiber that sometimes things seem a little slower than they should be. And so I'm going to show you something that I keep in the house. Contrave. I mean, not Contrave. Citrusel. You see, my mind is on Contrave. Citrusel. This one is the orange flavored one, and I haven't had to use it yet, but I'm thinking about using it like every other day. I could really take it every day and be fine. I haven't used it yet, but my roommate used it, and I asked her what it tastes like, and she said it tastes to her like orange Tang. If you remember Tang, you know what Tang tastes like. And I think all of us can agree we love Tang at some point. Leftover calories. Yes, I find that there is a lot of calories some days, and I'm having to think, what else can I eat? Because I really need to eat the majority of my calories. I'm very sensitive to not eating low, like 1,200 calories. That's not enough calories for the average person. And being that I exercise 4 to 5 days a week, that's not good at all. I mean, you need to eat your body. You don't want your body to go into starvation mode. And I think a lot of people who are on like one of these type of medications like Contrave or Ozempic, that they cut their calories back so much because they're like, oh, I don't have an appetite. And then so they cut back on what they eat, and at the beginning, they lose all of this weight like the first month. Like, oh, I lost 8 pounds this month or something. And then it's like, but then I stopped losing. Well, you stopped losing because your body caught up with you and was like, you're trying to starve us. So we're going to hold on to whatever we have. And if you don't start eating, we're going to have some problems. And you're not going to be able to lose anything else. So it's very important to make sure that your body is nourished. Don't torture yourself by not eating, because that's very important while you're on this med, while you're taking this med, if you don't want to have severe nausea and headaches. I'm telling you, telling you. And sleep. Oh, so this is fun. So one of the side effects is insomnia. Now, I have to say, I suffer from insomnia outside of Contrave, so I can't even blame Contrave for the fact that my sleep is wonky. And it's been really wonky lately because there's been a lot going on. But it's really weird that, sometimes I'll sleep really well and sometimes I won't. But the one thing I noticed on Contrave, that if I take it too late in the evening, and this is just from the second week on, not for the people who are only taking one, although some of you taking one in the morning may experience this, I think it's more so for the people who are on week 2 and on. And the one thing I noticed, whereas before, even if I had problems with sleep, I never had a problem falling asleep. It was always staying asleep. But on Contrave, I find that I'm having more of a problem falling asleep fast. And so at first I was like, oh, I'm going to take a melatonin and that should knock that out. And when the melatonin didn't work, I was like, okay, this may be the Contrave because this used to work before. So what I do sometimes when I don't sleep enough is, first of all, I'm trying to go to bed a little bit earlier than I normally do so that I can have enough sleep, because I find that if I wake up at a certain time, if I don't get out of bed, I feel lazy and it feels weird for me. So I know I'm not going to sleep past a certain point. So because of that, and because I want to get my sleep in, I'll try to go to sleep like an hour earlier and just allow that hour or however long it takes me to go to sleep to kind of just happen. And usually when I do that, I don't suffer from the anxiety of like, oh my God, I can't fall asleep. But when things get really bad and I'm like, okay, this is 2 or 3 days and I haven't really slept well, I will take a sleeping pill. I take half a sleeping pill. It's like one of these Amazon sleep. This is the one I take, Amazon Sleep Aid. And it works. I only have to take half, and I maybe sleep maybe 6 hours or so. Sometimes 7 when I'm really sleep deprived, and I don't wake up groggy when I take a half. If I take a whole one, I'm gonna sleep probably a solid 8 to 9 hours, and when I get up, I'm gonna be groggy, and I don't like being groggy. So I've just learned, take a half and catch the other 2 hours somewhere else. So just want to let you know about the sleep part of it. And let's see here. What else do I have? Week 3. So today, actually, I start week 3. And this week, I'm going to be talking about next Sunday. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Hit your notifications so that you know what's happening next week. Because I took this morning the first two pills, and I'm not going to tell you what happened with it because I want you to come back and watch the video next week. But I did take two today. So what happens week 3, you take 2 in the morning and 1 in the evening. So this is going to be interesting, and I'm really curious if it's going to cut my cravings or increase my feeling of fullness. But if there are things I'm not covering that you want to know about and see if I'm going through it and I forgot I was going through it, or just anything I've gone through in the last 2 weeks, please either write it down below or, yeah, just write it down below. And I just want to say thank you for coming today. Don't forget, subscribe and hit the notification button so that you are here every week. And go back and watch the other videos here. The first one that introduced my journey on Contrave and my first week of Contrave. And I will talk to you later. Bye.